Welcome to today's video, everybody. It is Sunday, March 29th, about an hour before the first pitch on the games for today. For the first time on the channel, we are talking Sorare MLB. I know a few of you have been asking about this, and we are here. We're just going to kind of run down what my collection's looking like, my strategy for the first game weeks, how that's changing going forward, talk about some of the tools I use, a couple of the suggestions I have. As you see on the screen right off the bat here, we got our 3 champion lineups. Right now, looking pretty solid, all things considered. Getting some cash on this one, essence on these other two. Hot streak champion, not going as well. I prioritized them kind of in this order as well. Here we did the limited champion first, hot streak champion next, and then we just tossed a bunch of stuff into challenger. We'll talk about challenger in a moment here. First game week of the MLB season is always a tricky one with the weather. First couple game weeks are going to be like this. Teams are still figuring out their rotations, their lineups, who they're going to let do what in certain situations, who's going to hit against who's going to pitch when. RP is a very tricky spot, you'll see. Guys that you would think are good players may only get one game. If they're a good relief pitcher on a bad team, that will happen. So a couple things to keep an eye on here as we go forward. So you see, again, we still have some time with game week 1 to finish out. One of the good things about game week 1 with the weekend here is we get a lot of the games early and one late. So we probably won't have too many late night sweats going on here. We'll go over and check out my gallery here. Now, big thing for my lineup building starting off was auctions. They had different promotions. We still haven't revealed the cards yet. Cards will be revealed prior to the next game week, thankfully, but some of the promotions will be done. So we won't have that. Prices will stabilize a little bit right now. I think some of the prices are influenced heavily by the double up promotion and then everything with the early access here. I was able to get some crafting going on. Probably in another video, we'll talk about a beautiful crafting tool that a friend of mine shared with me, and I used it to craft this lovely Jose Ramirez, one that I always respect the player. I just didn't have the funds available to buy at the moment. So let's go back into the lineup setting here. Go on to game week 2. Like I said, I prioritize my champion lineups first and foremost. That's where the money is. Add team. Now, the Sorare NBA Jet, if you've seen my other videos, they do have a lineup building tool. It's not an auto builder, so they don't just plop everybody in and give you suggestions like that, but it is pretty helpful. So we're going to start off by looking ahead at the game week schedule here. Most teams, if you go to ESPN is just an easy site that I use. There are a few other places like Fantasy Pros and Fangraphs where you can look at this stuff. We're not going to be talking about those too much today, possibly in the future, but you can kind of look and see what the proposed pitching matchups are. See, the Twins have not announced their pitching rotation for this next game week series where they got a few against Kansas City. Looks like the Nationals haven't done theirs and the Cubs have not done theirs. Again, there are a few websites that will project those things. Take it with a grain of salt, but keep an eye on it. Another thing I like to use the ESPN website for is keeping an eye on the weather. Early season games can be a crapshoot. You never know. But I do see a lot of 65 plus weather here in the early slates. I did see there is a game coming up in the week here. Let me see if I can find it. I believe it's Wednesday. Now the game week for MLB goes Monday to Thursday, and then Friday to Sunday. We had a little bit of a different one with the opening season game. So this one, the Angels and Cubs on Wednesday, high of 35. Keep an eye on that. Weather dips, might not get played, or could be a very low scoring game, so just keep that in mind. And again, with the Cubs not announcing their pitching matchups yet, it's going to be kind of tricky. And so going to the final day, and we have a little bit of weather also here for the Thursday Blue Jays at White Sox for the White Sox home opener too. Could be something to watch out for as well. So let's go back to our Monday games here. We got some fun series coming up this week. Kind of how I have been prioritizing these early champions with the cards that I currently have available. I don't have too much power. So I've been kind of using some of my classic studs, my Judges and Otanis. I used Tarek Skubal in the classic Tark Scuba. I don't have in-season cards of those guys yet, but I've been trying to save the classic spots for either hitter or flex position. And you'll see why here. So going right to the filters here, we'll see what we got as our pitching matchups. I do like here in the limited champion, you can kind of play up some of these classes, it looks like. I don't have too many standout matchups, and some of these guys that are on the second turnaround, like Schlittler, they're on the back end. I usually try not to prioritize back end guys because things happen during the week where you might see some changes here. So being that Pittsburgh has been fairly anemic, I tend to go with guys like Chase Burns in here. Relief pitcher is a tricky spot as well. Don't know. This could definitely change. Right now, I do like the matchup. If Helsley doesn't pitch today on Sunday against the Twins, he could be a good one in the Texas series. Duran could be a good one, but he did pitch 2 days in a row, so he probably won't pitch Sunday. For purposes of this lineup, I am going to toss him in right now. Then we get into this. You can kind of see a little rundown of my in-season cards. Now, I am taking a chance here on Munetaka Murakami. I like him with 4 games, 3 of them being at Miami. The one home opener that we discussed against the White Sox coming up here. Put him in. I could go back and I could look at what we've got for Jose Ramirez or Vinny Pasquantino. Pasquantino going against the Twins pitching, but the weather is hot earlier in the week, but not so great. And then Jose Ramirez and the Guardians going against the Dodgers on the road. Not too wild about that. Caminero could be a fun one too. We'll look a little further in some of the lineups, but for now, I'm going to prioritize Murakami with the 4 games. Here we get into our interesting middle infielder spot. I don't love my current card breakdown here, but I am going to go with the 4-game priority on this. Outfielder, we got some fun spots here. I want to lean with my guy Byron Buxton on this, but we'll see here. Chase DeLauder has had a hell of a season. If hopefully you're fortunate to craft a Chase DeLauder or get him cheap because his price has gone up big time. But I bought a Schwarber, and then I was fortunate enough to craft another one, so we're going to go with Schwarber here. Matchup against the Nationals. And then, like I said here, I like to get a little crazy with either my hitter or my flex spot. This one, I am going to take a chance, and I am going to go Cody Bellinger. And then we got our flex spot here, where unfortunately the flex spot's going to throw out every name, pitchers included. So I already know that I want to do Ohtani. I'm going to do Ohtani. Now, I do have a designated hitter only card and a starting pitcher DH card. We're going to go with the DH card for this one. Boom, that's our first championship lineup for game week number 2. And then we'll just keep it rolling here. Thank you for coming out, by the way. Do these videos fun. My personal thoughts on Sorare and the Sorare MLB space is you can share ideas with people. You don't have to gatekeep. I think it's more fun to see what other people are doing. And I like to share my suggestions with people. And hopefully you get something out of these videos. I know Sorare is an international user base, and not everybody's familiar with the MLB space. Now, we are going to get a little tricky. I don't want to get too wild on this, but I do like Mizorowski here. Because it's going to be a home series. They will be indoors. He's young, so hopefully keep rolling with him. The RP spot gets a little goofy for me again here. I like Cade Smith more often than not, but I don't necessarily love him against the Dodgers. So we'll go Helsley. Corner infielder. Jose Ramirez or Caminero. I think I'm going to take Caminero on this particular lineup. let's see here. These options are very slim. I might have to update that. Keeping an eye on our guy CJ Abrams here. If he comes back, he could be a play. We'll probably know a little more prior to lock for that. So going Xavier Edwards. Trout against the Cubs in Chicago. Could be an interesting one here. Scrolling. Taking the chance on our boy Chase. Trout. And then let's take a look. Now, I don't necessarily love the Yankees matchup against the Mariners, but got to give Aaron Judge some love. Always good to see guys named Aaron doing big things in sports. He definitely does big things. And for purposes of the video, we're only going to do one more championship lineup. I know this is kind of drawn out a little bit here. Kind of get a little quicker on this one here, so might regret this, but I'm really tempted to take Bubic against the Twins. Twins have not been terribly impressive. We'll put in Cade Smith. I can't not play Jose Ramirez unless he's injured. He's going to hit one of these lineups. Luke Keyshaw, little hometown loyalty. If you're new here, you're going to hear me talk about Twins. Not expecting a huge year out of them, but got to ride with my guys. Forgot to hit the filter here. And there's Ohtani. Oh, that's right. I can't put him in that spot, so I can put him in the other spot, though. There we are. And one feedback I do have for Sorare, if anybody from Sorare happens to see this, is I wish for the flex position, if you could just filter guys that were hitters or pitchers for that. Because especially if you have a larger gallery, it's going to show you by default, it's going to show you all of your cards, and it's going to start with pitchers. And there are certain situations where I am totally on board with starting 2 pitchers, but for purpose of this video, we're not going to do it. Another thing to keep an eye on, there is a bunch of guys out there that have relief pitcher cards that have starting pitcher, that are starting pitchers. So you're going to see guys like Steven Matz, Anthony Kay, Tatsuya Imai, Foster Griffin, Payante from the, I believe he's with the Cardinals. His older cards are RP. You can use those as a cheat code. We'll talk about those in another video. But for now, we're just going to hit the confirm button on these. And I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out today. If you have any questions, thoughts, tell me what you're doing, how you're enjoying MLB, some of the guys that you think might be great prospects. We haven't seen a Kevin McGonigal card yet, so hopefully Sorare doesn't drag their feet and they get a Kevin McGonigal card out there, and we'll see how the season goes. Thank you for coming out for the first MLB video on my channel. Have a wonderful day.